Hi, I'm James Knott, and this is your Better Beer Authority. Today, we have another blind tasting. It was sent to us from bobottobob, and he specifically requested for this to be a blind tasting. Now, I always listen to our viewers, so I paid attention, and here we are. Chef, what are you picking out in the taste on this one?
I mean, there's definitely some fruit-forward notes to it. I get some apricot, maybe some apple, maybe a little bit of blackberry in there. There's a lot of fruit-forward, and then a kind of a crisp but dry, hoppy finish to it. But not a lot of lingering, just enough, I think, to spark interest.
Okay. Now, the one information I gave these guys ahead of time was that this was an American Pale Ale. Now, for an American Pale Ale, how does this compare, for your expectations when I say American Pale Ale?
When I expect an American Pale Ale, I expect something quite a bit drier, not as fruit-forward like Chef put it, without such a wonderful actual malt character to it. I think there's a lot of great hop in it, but I think it also has a good malt balance because I do get a lot of sweetness, maybe some maple in there somewhere. And so I think that the beer itself is very well balanced and not as real bitter hoppy like I'm used to seeing in pale ales.
Okay. Now, beforehand, when we were originally assessing this off camera, you said, for the aroma alone, I would give it a 9. Okay. Break that down for me.
It just leaves you wanting to try the beer. It has a great citrus, grapefruit, front-forward smell. I mean, it's amazing. It reminds me of Hop Slam on the nose. I mean, it's really good, but it has that lighter feel, and I would assume that this is probably half the ABV of that. I mean, I would guess this ABV is probably in the maybe 6 range at most, somewhere in there. Very, very good, though. Okay,
well, you were pretty close, so let me give you some information about this beer. It's an American Pale Ale with 6.2% ABV and 50 IBUs. It uses only a single type of hops, Citra, from the Yakima Valley here in the United States. Chef, 50 IBUs. I mean, we've been having some pretty hoppy beers lately. That's kind of on the low end of some of the really hoppy beers we've been having. But how does this stack up in terms of perceived bitterness?
You know, I think if you're looking for something that has some bitterness, this does have some bitterness to it, but it's not overpowering. It still has that sweet beginning to it, and then it finishes off with a little bit of that hoppy kind of bitterness.
Just because it's hoppy doesn't mean it has to be bitter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get a little bit of the fruit notes, you get a little bit of sweetness, you get a little bit of the hoppiness, but it's not over bitter or overly sweet or overly fruity.
With saying that, though, I would bet that someone that's not a hophead, or at least someone that doesn't enjoy them somewhat or hasn't been exposed to this, that tries this, probably wouldn't like it. I know my father wouldn't like this.
You're trying to say you don't have to be a hophead to enjoy it, but hopheads will enjoy it.
Yeah, that, and I think that if you're not a hophead, or at least not someone that at least has been exposed to them, I think this is maybe a little bit off-putting initially because it does have some bite to it, but it does have that balance to it because the aroma, everything.
I think it feels aggressive. I think if you weren't into hoppy beers, you would be put off by this beer.
Yeah, I think all of us enjoy the citrus notes. Yeah. Even you yourself, Mark, was saying, I mean, you're not exactly a hophead by any means, but this beer, the smell and the fruit forwardness is...
I'm just not a pale kind of guy. India Pale, I think, just offers, and this is just my opinion, offers such a wider array of different hops. Some that you pick up in the nose, some that you pick up on the palate. Whereas pale ales, I just feel like you get so much bitter hop finish.
What do you think about the idea of honing in on one single hop?
When you said that, I was kind of surprised and thought it was really cool. Which kind of reminds me of, I think Sam Adams did a deconstructed pack where they took their, what was it, Noble pills?
It was...
Because Noble has the 5 Noble pills, and then they did a deconstruction pack.
It was their Latitude 48.
Latitude 48, sorry, you're right.
Yeah, very good beer.
But I just think that the idea of having one single hop is actually, a pretty keen idea for a beer. So it can kind of get you more personal with a hop blend that I've never actually heard of, truth be told.
Chef,
Well, I think you bring it back to with the hops. I agree with what Mark was saying. You bring it back to a little bit of the basics. You're using one hop, but then you're adding it at the different time periods to get an optimal flavor out of that one hop. I think it's pretty creative.
Rating?
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think this is a really solid beer. It's nice. It's drinkable. It's got great flavor. Good to go.
Mark?
I'm going to give it a 7 for the same reasons that Chef mentioned. I just didn't enjoy it quite as much as he did. But
Okay. Scott?
I give it an 8. I think this is a great beer, and I think that it's a sessionable American Pale Ale. I think this is something that someone should go out there and grab a hold of. And I mean, I could drink 4 or 5 of these.
Okay. Here is the beer. Zombie Dust
Whoa,
from Three Floyds.
I've never had
cool.
it.
This is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Bob for sending us this awesome beer. Three Floyds is, according to Rate Beer's rankings, the #1 brewery in the world. So we're pretty lucky to get to taste this beer, especially sent to us fresh from Bob. Let me tell you a little bit about this beer. Zombie Dust is from the Three Floyds Brewing Company in Munster, Indiana. The brewery was founded in 1996 by brothers Nick and Simon with their father, Mike Floyd. Get it? Three Floyds.
Funny.
They aim to make not normal quality ales and lagers. Chef, now that we've revealed this beer, American Pale Ale, I mean, does this change your thoughts at all, or are you...
No, I mean, I'm equally intrigued. Obviously, not having this beer before. I mean, this is definitely something that I plan on, trying to seek out in the future. So, I mean, I stick true to my 8. I think this is, I think that this approach that we're doing, this blind taste test, we get the idea of what the beer is before we even know where the beer came from.
Yeah, this just reinforces
reinforces my interest now in Three Floyds and specifically Zombie Dust. So anytime I'm going to be able to get my hands on it, I'm going to get a 6-pack of it.
I've had a couple of different brews from Three Floyds and love them. And having had this, I guess it really does taste like a Three Floyds now that I think about it. Just, they have such a good clean hop profile. Like when I had their Arctic Panzerwolf, I think that for an IPA, the hop level that it has it's very precise, very sharp, very distinct, and it's good clean fun as far as hop goes. And so this is just another good beer from Three Floyds that, we don't get a lot of it here in Ohio. But
Yeah, it's limited releases and special releases. They don't do any of their year-round stuff in Ohio, only special releases. Scott, you lived in Chicago, which is pretty close to Munster, Indiana.
Yeah,
did you ever cross paths with Three Floyds?
Oh yeah, we drank a lot of it. I have a lot of people that I know that go to, Dark Lord Day, where they go and...
Yeah, what's that about?
One day a year, I think it's in April if I'm not mistaken, where they actually they brew a beer that's a very, very strong and delicious beer. I've never had it actually myself. And they'll sell you a bottle. You have to get a ticket and they let you know, and you go and get a bottle. You can buy, I think, up to 4 bottles of it. They'll sell for anywhere from $50 to $100 after the sale. So you can get online and find it, but expensive beer. But Dark Lord Day. But Three Floyds is very well known, and I love their beer.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bob, for sending us Three Floyds Zombie Dust.
is that his full name?
That's his YouTube username.
Okay. I was like, who is this dude? I like his name, but...
Zombie Dust gets a 7.7 on the BBA scale. What do you think of Three Floyds Brewing? Do they live up to the hype in your mind? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I'm James Knott, and this is your Better Beer Authority.
Better Beer Authority, Better Beer Authority, Better Beer Authority.